Hello, you lovely lot, and welcome to a rather freezing Western Pools, where we're going to do another Match Memories, aren't we, mate?
We are, and this is the turn, and I'm looking forward to this one.
Mate, we proper enjoyed doing the last one, so I've scribbled loads down, folks, to talk about. But the one I want to go through first is, or second, is the 1996 World Youth Championships in Portugal. On the River Soraya in Carouche.
What's it?
It's a bit
How
of a
old is
mouthful,
he
that,
then?
wasn't it?
1996, how old are you then?
1996, I was 17. I'd just passed me driving test 2 weeks previous. But before we get onto that, before we get to the World Champs or anything, I want to tell you about the selection and the trials and everything like that. The trials this particular year were at Gold Valley, where it was, because the River Soraya was sort of long-range waggler and slider tactics with balls of sticky mag. Poles weren't, we didn't take poles at all. I don't remember taking a pole whatsoever.
Do you remember taking one?
I don't think we took. We must have took them like whips and that, but it was all waggler rods. So big wagglers, little sliders and all that, and traditional wagglers. So gets down to Gold Valley. I've been practicing a little bit on a lake local to me called Shakely Mia. Rich will know that one. That's the one where I had like 2 ropes in the pole sock. But I wasn't interested in catching fish. It was all about getting me lines right, which I didn't. I'll talk you through that in a bit, folks. Main lines right, obviously casting right, and getting all my catapult sorted for welling out these. Well, it was just like cheap brown chrome at the time, you know what I mean, just to replicate the maggots and what have you. So anyway, so we sets off at like dead early in the morning, me and Daddy May, probably 3:30 in the morning to get down to Gold Valley for the trial. And the thing with England trials, this has been me, I think this is on my 4th or my 5th England trial in consecutive years. I've not been picked up to this point. And you knew when you were in with the chance at an England trial, Jay, because they'd put you in the middle around lads who'd previously fished the year before, and like lads who were like proper.
Yeah, who you expected the team to be.
Yes.
You're plonk, get in the middle of that.
So I was in the first sort of like the first trial in the morning. I was put with Michael Sanders on my left, obviously Steve Sanders' lad, awesome angler, fishes Gold Valley all the time, and Mark Pitchers. He was on my right hand side. Mark Pitchers, the carp lad with you lot.
Was it?
Yeah, Mark Pitchers, man. Yeah. So he was on my right hand side, and then it was Richard Taylor, who's got Medway tackle now. Lad called Matt Bramley, he doesn't really fish anymore, although I think he's fishing. Andy Kinder's Sarah, that's her brother, Matt Bramley.
Right.
Yeah, so
I knew that.
You know where I'm coming from, yeah? You know, didn't you? You know.
I didn't know that.
So Chris Jenkinson, who else was there? Loads of them, loads of these lads. And he was right in the middle of them, so like, I started panicking a bit, and like, I was still a nervous kid back then, you know what I mean? So I'm like, what do I expect?
You were an angry ginger kid.
I was a proper angry strawberry blonde back in the day. And the rugby field, like my mate's like, yeah, I'm going to get him. But anyway, I go back to the fishing. I calmed down a bit by then. I'd not really. No, I'd calmed down a bit. So made sure obviously all my sticky mag had been done and everything, got all my rods sorted. Also, I thought, and all in sounded. My first chuck, I got tangled straight away. And Michael Saunders is into a fish straight away, so I'm like, oh God. And like Mark Downs and Joe Roberts were the 2 selectors then. They were in charge of the England team. And they were stood behind us at this point. So I'm like, oh God. So obviously I start panicking even more, thinking, oh, that's it, I've blown it already. But you don't know, because there's another trial in the afternoon. So got that sorted, found my way a little bit, started hooking a few carp. My first 2 I lost. One of them snapped me and the other one just fell off. Michael Saunders has got like 4 or 5 by now. Mark Pitchers has got 2 or 3. Everyone's catching. I've still not had a fish. But my bait's going right. You know what I mean? My bait's like going within that of my float. I'm looking good. And then the next one, my mainline snapped. I'm like, no, what's going on? So it just went from bad to worse, basically, felt. It was just absolutely horrendous. Anything that could go wrong did go wrong. I think I managed 1 carp in the first trial in the morning.
Was that just like a 3-hour one? Quick 3 hours?
It might have been less than that, Jay.
We've got a mate on.
Oh, a little Muscovy duck. He wants some food, doesn't he, bless him? Yeah, it might have been less than that, like 2.5 hours. It wasn't long.
Was it? It was quick in there.
And then we had like a break for lunch and this, that and the other, and I was distraught. Daddy May's like coming round slapping me with his bank stick, prodding me like he used to. You got to bite, son, strike. So it was just like, I was nearly in tears. It was that bad. I was like, and obviously, usually in the afternoon one, they might move you, you know what I mean, put you into a different area. So obviously if they put you on the ends, you know, that's it. But they didn't, they left me there, so I'm like, oh God, here we go.
What, same peg?
Yeah,
don't move,
Andy. Didn't worry about it. So obviously, went back through it all again, the afternoon session. Again, my feeding's spot on. Mainline snapped again, I remember. Lost 2 or 3 fish, and I don't think I caught a fish on the afternoon one. Michael Saunders had another 8 or 9. Mark Pitchers has got 8 or 9. Richard Taylor's catching. Matt Bromley's catching. Ian Boothby, another lad. Pencroff, you know, the Ian Boothby, Paul Boothby's son. Yeah, he's got the tackle shop.
Right, yeah.
Everyone's catching fish. Chris Jenkinson, everyone's catching fish. I didn't catch fish. Something like that, right, really panicking, you know, sort of like, you know, like when you think about things and you overthink it, it just gets worse and worse, and then eventually my casting was all going off and my feed was nowhere near, breaking up this, that and the other. And all this practice, folks, I'd done for it and just didn't come to fruition on the day. It just all went wrong. So at the end of that afternoon trial, Mark and Joe sat us all down. This is like 25, 30 lads there. So Mark and Joe sat us all down, then he started calling names out that had been picked. So I think Richard Taylor and Mark Pitchers, they got picked pretty much automatic because they were doing it from the previous year. And then it went Michael Saunders, Ian Boothby, Matt Bramley and Chris Jenkinson. Didn't pick me, and I was absolutely gutted. And I was wounded, so obviously I don't think I spoke a word to my dad all the way back up the motorways. I was proper gutted. But before I get to the next bit of the story, I want to tell you about Morelands Farm, the Youth Classic, the Wizzo Youth Classic at Morelands Farm. Do you remember them?
No. I'm a baby. Behave.
You're only like 3 or 4 years. So before that, the Wizzo Youth Classic at Morelands Farm was where it was the North, South and sort of like the Midlands teams all come together and basically had a fish off for a day. So there's like some cracking anglers in it, anglers that are still going now, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Mark Downs walked round on this, he walked round on the match, and I'd not drawn a good peg. I was in like the high 20s on Meadowpool.
Yeah, I drawn up there, right at the top end.
Oh yeah, horrendous. Nice. But you know, obviously because it had been a team match, suited me. I was just fishing worms and casters, and I'd set a waggler up. I don't know why I'd set the waggler up. I'd set a waggler up with a little piece of polystyrene, threaded up my up length, just to catch some like odd random carp that were sort of like cruising through, because we didn't know about mugging rigs back then.
Days.
Oh, proper. And they had like my traditional waggler on this, that, and the other. And Mark Downs has seen me catch a couple of these carp. He knew me from like previous trials. Then he's seen me catching roach and skimmers. I was obliterating my section. And I went on to win my section and come like 5th in the match, I think. So obviously Downs has seen that.
Yeah.
So fast forward, the next thing was the trial. Then obviously that's why he put me in that group.
Yeah.
And then you'll understand the next bit now. So 2 weeks after the trial, I'd got in from where I'd been like out to work. Oh, I was still at school. No, I wasn't at school. I left school. Well, I definitely wasn't at school. I'd got in, and I all I can remember is me some tyres screeching outside, and coming out, it's my dad who's like, come running in. Said, Andy, I've just had a phone call off Mark Downs. And I'm like, what are you on about? It's rang me up. You're going to Portugal. I'm like, what do you mean? I said, I can't be going to Portugal. We had the trial and I was rubbish. He says, no, it's based on what he saw at Morelands. That's what got me in the team.
Yeah.
So obviously, there's 5 fishing, and usually have like 1 extra, but they took 2 this year.
Right, they said.
So obviously 2 won't be fishing. So yeah, we got over to Portugal, and obviously you can imagine the strawberry blonde in Portugal in the summer. It didn't really go hand in hand, folks. It was so hot. But we started practicing. We had I think we had 4 practice days on each of the sections. And it was great. We were catching like little barbel, odd mullet, odd carp, and there was like these little, I don't know what they were like, little bitterling kind of thing, like sun perch and things like that.
Yeah, little weird fish.
No one bothered for them. All of us were fishing on a waggler.
Yeah.
I was the only one who was fishing traditional waggler, like I just do now. Mm-hmm. But everyone else, sort of like all the, the Portuguese, the Spanish, the Italians, the French, Germans. I'll tell you about them later. They were all fishing like these big sliders with like little bits of elastic on. It was weird.
Like shock absorber,
so like a shock absorber.
Yeah.
And the river, it was only, I want to say it was like 5 to 6 foot deep. It wasn't really deep. It was pretty wide, to be fair.
That duck's coming for us, look.
Is it? The Muscovy duck? He's going to have
He's having a climb.
He wants some bait, doesn't he, bless him? Might have a visitor in a bit, folks. So we've gone through all the practice, and we got to the Wednesday, and I'd got proper severe sunstroke. I basically ended up all day in the back of, that sounds wrong, that, in the back of a van, but I was in Mark Downs' hire van, all that day.
Were you broken?
Oh, mate, honestly, like, I burnt, just like, didn't put a brolly up.
Oh, you just went for it.
Just like proper red, didn't put any sun cream on, and I was like proper burnt. So I was out of action that day, so I couldn't practice at all. Then we had the Thursday and the Friday, and obviously we got to the Friday, I thought, blowing it again, but I'd fished all right. I'd been catching loads of fish in practice, which I was well happy with. Downsy came up to me and says, Andy, I'm going to pick you. I think it's right. I'm like, oh, I didn't know what to do. I was like, what do I do? Like, none of me, there's Robin on the camera.
Poo on your camera, that one, isn't it?
none of me family were there, anything like that. It was
Well, even Daddy
no,
go with you?
No, I remember Ian's dad being there, Ian Booby's dad being there. Obviously, Steve Sanders was there, a couple of others, but Daddy May wasn't there, and a few of the other like mums and dads, the lads weren't there. So the team was picked. I'd got picked. Michael Sanders, Matt Pitches, Richard Taylor, and Matt Bramley. That were the five. So Chris Jenkinson and Ian Boothby, they were left out for the first day. Come to the Friday night, and there was a massive bridge where we were fishing in Carouge, massive bridge, like a big road bridge. And I just happened to look up. I'm like, I recognise him. It was Daddy May, just randomly walking over this bridge. Yeah. So he must have like rang obviously Mark or Joe up and asked him where we were, and he's come and found us. It's like Daddy May just like booked himself a ticket. Hey up son, you alright? I'm like, Daddy, I've just been picked. What are you doing here? Was not expecting it whatsoever. So I'm like, yeah.
That's proper lovely, that.
So he's got hire car.
And that's in the days before mobiles as well, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Phones
proper.
don't exist or
No. So he must have like rang the hotel, got in touch with Mark Downs or Joe Roberts, and obviously,
right.
you know, right, yeah, I'll see you in a bit. So just like one ticket for Daddy May, bless him, amazing. So obviously I just passed my driving test, and they're like, let me have a drive round this hire car. I haven't even passed like 2 weeks. I'm like, revving, yeah, you know what I mean, in the car park and everything. So we come to obviously this Saturday now, and I got Jordan MPEG, downstream MPEG and world champs. Oh, it's amazing. I had I can't remember. I had a female Slovenian angler to me right, and then there was like, I think there's like sections of 25 or 30. There's quite a few nations in it. Yeah. You know what I mean? But obviously I drawn this MPEG, I proper fancied it. And yeah, it turned out all right. I've had a carp first chuck, then I've lost one, and I've started catching these little barbel. This was on a big sort of waggler, not slide, a big waggler.
I bet how far you chucking?
It seemed massive at the time, but probably here to the river, so like 30 yards or something like that, 30, 35 yards. It seemed a lot further, but it probably wasn't.
You know like 30 metres.
Yeah. So little balls of sticky mag with gravel in, binding it with Horlicks and all that. But we had some proper sticky mag stuff. But I'd always use Horlicks. I just carried on with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, proper Horlicks.
You want to use.
And it was good. I only had 2 kilo 600, 2 kilo 700. That's all I'm saying. I didn't have loads. But I won my section, so I was well chuffed with that.
That was old days again, full section when it wasn't no split section.
No split section, the full section. So obviously, yeah, picked for the second day, which was amazing. And I can't remember who was dropped. I think it was Matt Bramley was dropped, and then Ian Boothby came in. The lads had done all right. I think Matt Pitches had won his section. Richard Taylor was second in his section. None of us had fished like whips or poles or anything, and Richard Taylor got his head down and caught like loads of these little, I don't know, like sun perch or whatever they were, and he's won his section with like 3 kilo or something like that. You know what I mean? So he's caught loads and loads of fish. So we were doing well. We were like second or third as a team going into the second day. So like, yes, come on, get in. Next day comes along. Obviously we'd had our talk at night and everything. I had loads to eat. The next day comes along, and I drew, I'm going to say, sort of C-section or something like that, right in the middle of C-section.
Yeah.
But it'd been where we'd practiced and where I caught a lot of barbel on a traditional waggler, not on like a big waggler. So start, all in goes, as I do, start filling it in with emp and maggots and all that, and then immediately started off on a traditional waggler. Now the thing with these barbel, Jay, got real bony mouths. They were a nightmare. They kept falling off.
Not like our barbel.
No, they're like these European barbel. They're like our barbel, like rock hard mouths.
Yeah. I
remember losing a lot. I remember losing a big mullet as well. I've hooked it. It's just gone nuts.
Mullet always fall off, don't they?
Yeah, and I had a fish disqualified because it went into someone else's zone, and they like put their hand up straight away. So that got disqualified. But I was catching like these little barbel, catching loads of little barbel. And I can remember Mark Downs coming down to me saying, Andy, you're second or third in your section, second or third in your section, which sounds like, yeah, that's pretty good team points, that. So obviously you have like a bank runner behind you, counting all your fishing, this, that and the other. And I'd caught more fish than anyone else, but there was, I think I'm going to say it was a French lad who'd had bigger fish.
Yeah.
So Downsy was convinced I was third in my section come the weigh-in, and I managed to come second. And then Downsy, all I can remember is Downsy going, "Yes, we've done it! You're gonna be world champion." But then news started coming in about some German bloke who'd won his section the day before, and he'd won his section again back with 20 grams. He beat me by 20 grams.
Oh,
That's
what,
all
beat someone else by 20
No,
grams?
he'd won our section by 20 grams.
Oh, he was in your section?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I'm like, oh, it's gutted. But luckily our team, we got a bronze medal. We came third, which was amazing. You know what I mean?
That's what you're there for, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. So obviously they're like complete, like being absolutely gutted. So they're like the elation of not only getting a team medal, a team bronze, but coming second in the world. All right, it's a youth match, but it was amazing.
Wow.
Like they're amazing anglers, and at the time we were all staying in the same hotel. But obviously my dad wasn't in that hotel; he was somewhere else. So I went back with my dad, and I remember this. I completely missed the presentation. I wasn't here to get my medals and the trophies and everything, and obviously that was where.
How did that happen?
I hadn't got a clue. Like, I just went back with Daddy May, not thinking. Like, obviously, no mobile, no one could get in touch with us. Yeah. So we rocked up, like, the presentation, the gala evening, with, like, everyone's, like, around the tables, eating all the food and, like, cracking open the wine and everything. And they're like, Andy, you've missed it all. So Matt Bramley got up on stage and give it a big and pretending to be me. I'm like, yes, that's amazing. So he's, like, handing me medals and me trophies over and this, that and the other. And it was just amazing, but I'll never forget that we actually missed the presentation. just ridiculous, you know what I mean? But to look back on something like that, that's when it all probably started for me. The first year I got picked for England, and then it just went off after that.
That was right.
But like gear-wise, let's go back to the gear I was using. So I think I only had one rod that was mine.
Did you?
Yeah, I borrowed everything. Borrowed everything. Borrowed loads of whips and that I didn't even use. Obviously, they took over a load of like wagglers and sliders. Thought, oh yeah, I'll have some of them. But I ended up catching on like these traditional sliders. It was amazing.
Doing it your way.
Yeah, it was real good fishing. Again, I think I had like something like 3.5 kilo on the second day, so it wasn't a big weight.
Yeah.
But it was just nice because only like 3 hour matches. Just nice, steady away fishing.
Yeah, it's what you £7 though, little.
Yeah. Look back, odd bigger
you?
one. Lost that mullet, lost the carp that went through someone else's peg. But it was like nice fishing. And since it's one of them things that you'll never ever forget in match fishing.
No, it's so typical of so many outstanding memories that you have, the most special ones. It's the weird things that happen leading up to it.
Yes,
It always happens, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Nothing ever happens straight and
when you
normal.
think like you think you completely ruined it, which I did I proper ruined it. That trial when you're supposed to get everything right, which I thought he had done, but what I ended up doing, I ended up looking at the wrong number on a spool of line. It was Water Queen line. And it said something like £7, £8. I'm like, yeah, that'll do. It's a main line, but it's like 0.14 diameter.
Yeah, it was telling you lies.
And it was like high tech, obviously what we take for granted now on pole line, rig lines.
Yeah.
And it was just completely wrong. Yeah. Literally just like snapped on the strike. But at the time when you're like, practicing, you don't think of it.
No.
But then obviously somewhere like Gold Valley where it's like really intense, a lot more casting. It just like
can't withstand.
Didn't last very long.
Although 14 doesn't
I remember
last
like winding through my rod bins, I could hear it grating, like look down at my line and it's all shredded. I'm like, what can I do? But I genuinely thought I'd ruined it. But if it wasn't for like that Morelands Farm, the Youth Classic, I don't think I'd have been picked.
No.
And then obviously, just led on from that. So that's it, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. I waffled a bit then, but it's brilliant. Proper enjoyed it.
I'm not going to be able to live up to that now.
Oh, come on, Jay. Of course you have.
You
19 Fisho wins and like
I'm not
27
gonna go
golden meals. And
that was like it's nice.
it was good. It was good. But like the year after in Croatia on the River Drava, that's a bit different. That's one for another day.
Save that for another day.
Right, so we hope you are enjoying the video that you're watching. If not, have just watched. But what we'd also like you to see is the packages that we include for our more technical, informational stuff, where what we can bring to you is all we pretty much know about the technical side and our match style side of fishing.
I'm
what we
not
have,
in this bit.
you are, of course you are in this bit. We have two sides of things. We have the basic package that for $4.99. You can watch us fish live matches, a Q&A every month, and additional stuff from Matty Dawes with live matches and more technical stuff on his side. Or we have the all access package where you can literally see technical insights, live matches from us, but also some of the best anglers flipping on the planet. I mean, we treat it as 3 days coaching for us, and we go out and we show you what we're learning for anglers like Darren Cox, Andy Bennett, Des Ship, to name but a few. Well worth a look if you fancy having a little bit more fishing content to watch.